I'm Taylor May, and this is the Align to Achieve show. I believe the elevation into the life of your dreams begins with the never-ending journey of aligning with who you truly are. This is a space to be moved by stories and insights of those already paving the way in what it means to live a truly expansive life, lead extraordinary businesses, and create a legendary impact through the allowing of our authentic power. Your journey to your next level begins right now. Hey everybody, hope you are doing so well today. Thank you again for coming to listen. This is another solo episode with Madison Embry. If you didn't listen to the first one, maybe go back and listen to that one first, because that will maybe provide a little more context of what these solo episodes are all about. But let's just jump into it. Today we're talking about career, aligning in our work, and showing up to truly achieve in a way that is authentic to who we really are, and a lot of other things too. So thank you for being here. Let's do it. Before we dive in, just a quick word from our partners. If you have been in conversation with me, you probably haven't gotten past 10 seconds until I've told you about Darling. Darling may be maybe my favorite brand ever. Darling started as a magazine in 2012, and they were the first magazine to not retouch women's skin or bodies and introduce really this deeper conversation for women. And it instantly drew me in. As we now know, like, that is such a standard we all care about now in the media, and they really have been the global leaders in that. And all to say, everything that they've created has been beautiful, and they've been in partnerships with Anthropologie and Target and just have done amazing work. And so when I heard that they were launching a new lifestyle line with new clothing and home goods, I knew I had to be a part. And so I just got back from Los Angeles to be a part of the beautiful launch of this line. And in their spring line, there are 20 beautiful capsule pieces that I have the honor of having that I truly have been wearing every day. I literally feel like all areas of my life are needing an up level, because when I put these on, I just feel like I'm up to big things. And I also feel like I am just a part of something bigger than myself, because not only are these clothes beautiful and beautifully made, they stand for something. They stand for, I am proud of who I am. I am proud to be this original version of who I am. And you just need to take a minute to look at their mission statement, because truly it's gorgeous. And their clothing and their home goods are equally as gorgeous. And so there's a link in the show notes for you to do some shopping. And I just highly encourage you to be a part, to join the bigger movement of Darling through getting yourself some new spring clothes. You'll love it. I've had the opportunity to do a lot of different trainings and leadership development experiences throughout the years, and truly nothing really comes close to my experiences I've had with To Be Magnetic, specifically in their Pathway membership. In this membership, you get an array of different workshops, from focusing on money and inner child and shadow work to your relationships. And you rewire your subconscious mind. And so it's really this combination of energetics, neuroplasticity. You'll have to go to the website and see it all for yourself. But truly, I accredit my experience with them to so much of what I'm experiencing in my life right now. And it's about manifesting the life you want. And I know that's a buzzword right now, but I see it just like this concept of aligning to achieve, of how do we really get right on our insides to create what we want on the outside. And so check it out. It is truly powerful, truly has transformed my life, and I cannot recommend them enough. And seriously, for as little as $1 a day, you truly can't miss it. And if you type Taylor at checkout, you'll get 15% off. So, hey, even better. Don't miss out on the amazing opportunity to do the work with To Be Magnetic. Thanks for listening, and thanks to our partners. Now, on to the show.
For this next episode, we're going to be talking about what it looks like to align to achieve when you are at work and within your career. So, the first thing I want to ask you is, Taylor, what does it feel like to be aligned in achieving at work and in your career?
Hmm. I use this phrase often, but it's this sense of deep knowing, like in your body, in your bones of I'm doing like what I'm supposed to be doing, even if no one else around me understands. And so that's my personal experience of aligning and achieving. And I know when I'm out of alignment, I don't feel that way. And I think a way to maybe for people to start to reveal that for themselves, if you sense like, yeah, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing or where I'm supposed to be, or right, all of the above, is write out or draw out whatever your form of expression is, what you wish your circumstance was like. Truly, not from a place of ego of because you want other people to perceive you in a certain way. Like kind of like we talked about, Madison, like what is like
Mhm.
your dream job description? Like what would that, look like for someone to receive that from you? And then like that is clues and information for you to go off when you continue to make decisions. So it's this knowing, but a lot of times most of us aren't in that place, but we have opportunities to make shifts from the inside out to make those things happen.
Can you share a little bit with us? So I know a lot of we sometimes have to find our no's in order to get to our yeses. So can you share with us some of those experiences of finding your no's? And sometimes you feel them at the same time. You're like, this is a no, but this is a yes. So how do we kind of navigate when we like really feel a no?
Mm. Hmm. Are you saying no from like an internal experience or no
Yes.
like I okay. Navigating your nose. Ooh, this is interesting. I got to think about that for a moment. Hmm. I think when you feel like something is a no, sitting with yourself and really digging deep on why is often a really positive experience to do. Sometimes, like, if you're like, oh, no, this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing or who I'm supposed to be with or whatever it is, great. Like, things can be that simple and not as dramatic. But oftentimes, especially if it's like a really intense no, then I think it really is an opportunity and a gateway to really one to get to know ourselves even more, but also really dissect the information. And I think I'm really like an objective thinker in that sense. So that's kind of why I say things like information that we're like taking, but it's a way for us to be like, well, why do I feel that way? And it's a way for us to really, I think, begin to analyze, is it feel like a no because of, again, my ego of how I'm perceived, or I'm just trying to feel safe? Or is it like truly a no? And like, what do I do with that? Am I going to disappoint people? Am I okay with disappointing people? I really just think those strong no's are an opportunity to go deeper at the end of the day. And it can feel scary. It really can. And I think going through that process is a really great way to invite trusted people in our lives too, to be able to just get other people's insight and be able to talk through those moments as well.
You've had so many different work experiences thus far, Taylor. Can you share with us just because, I know listeners will have had moments in their work experience where they're just like, I just do not love this job I am currently in, and I know there is something more for me out there. Can you share about a time when you felt out of alignment at work and how you stepped into and found your alignment?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, so many times I have felt out of alignment at work. And again, now I look back and those no's were just clues that pushed me forward to have to get clarity to make other decisions. And I think about my first job out of college. I was at a marketing agency, and I always make the joke that I looked around and I was like, this is not what I want to be in 5 years. Like looking at the other people I was around who were doing great in their own right, but just didn't feel true to me of what my path was. And from there, I had to ask why and do kind of the practice that I was just talking about of what are the components inside of me that want to be lived out and what do I need to do to make those things happen. And over time, there were many other experiences like that. And I'm still in it of continuing to understand, ooh, this is a part of myself that wants to be expressed. Who do I need to talk to make this happen? What do I need to let go of to make space for this to happen? And so, again, it's this internal awareness and internal reflection happening at all times, and then making bold decisions that other people might not understand. Like, for example, I quit that job after like 5 months, and I shouldn't have because it was a stable job and it was fine pay and right, all the normal list of things. But if I wouldn't have done that, I would not be doing what I love today in a way that really feels true and right to me. So that's a high level of it. There's many more
Mhm.
tears and things along the way of that journey. So if you're listening and you're in that, I understand it's the worst, but it really is worth it on the other side if you continue to persevere.
I really love that. I appreciate you sharing that there are tears and that there are, those really dark moments because I think so
Yeah.
often we can get really caught up in the like, but it's great, it's fine, your path is waiting for you. And
Yeah,
hearing you acknowledge like, oh no, there's some darkness on the journey to the light. That's
totally.
really affirming.
Yeah.
Uh, can you share for us? So you talked about, you had this job for 5 months and then you left it. I imagine, and it's something we talk about a lot, that you don't want to let people down. We're so focused on being nice and making everyone happy. Can you share what it looks like to give a tactful, kind, no, thank you, this is not for me, and I don't want to be here any longer?
Yeah. Well, I can literally just share the example of that exact moment
Great.
and how that went down was I sat down with my supervisors and I just shared transparently and honestly. And when I'm talking to people about things like that, it's so funny when I share first, like my piece of advice is like, just be transparent and honest. And people don't think about it because it's like, oh, am I allowed to be vulnerable? And yes, you're allowed to be vulnerable. So I literally started it out of you're probably going to be mad at me for doing this and it's probably going to sound crazy and I'm aware of that, but I need to make a different decision. And my reasoning is I think I literally told them it's a gut feeling. Like, and I know that might not make sense to you, but I have to make this decision for myself. And I'm so sorry if that disappoints you, but I just have to continue on my journey and have to let go of this position. And they were disappointed. And it was
Mm.
kind of a thing to navigate, but it was again, I think we're presented things all the time of am I going to stick into my self-worth or am I going to essentially abandon myself and my desires just to make those people happy? And my
Mm.
life would be on a very different trajectory if that was the road I chose to go down in that moment and in other moments. And sometimes I still go down that road, but I will say I've done a lot of work that most of my decisions these days are operating in that other road of I'm I'm making a choice from what I want to do, not because it's a place that I'm better than anybody else, but I'm also going off the assumption and looking at people in the best light that, oh, they are capable of making the decision that's best for them as well. So that's at least where I'm operating from these days. And so in those conversations, that being honest, being transparent, being vulnerable, and just choosing yourself is going to be the most tactful and true way for someone to handle those types of conversations.
That's great. When you are making big decisions in your career, what you want with work, how do you decipher the people that are in your trusted circle that you bounce ideas off, give you advice? How do you select who those people are?
Oh, I love talking about this because I just love my people so much. Um, I remember I came up with a term called like my soul squad, and it sounds so like cheesy, but like essentially really being mindful of who do I want on my board of directors in my
Mm,
life? And these are people in my life currently that I want to be more like. It's like, right, you hear that phrase of like, you're the average of the five people you spend time with or whatever it is. So there is something within them that I want more of. They're people that I want to equally give to. And so it's not like these people are just pouring into me and I'm getting things out of it. They're people that want me to show up as my best to them as well. So there's a really even relationship that's formed. These are people on my tight circle that they are always working hard to be their best. They are always working hard to be conscious and to be honest. And there's just this deep sense of trust that when I would go, if I go to ask for their advice, that I actually would take it for what it is and trust their outside opinion. And you're obviously one of these people, Madison, to a huge degree. And so, I mean, I could go on, but the importance of intentionally forming that circle around you is absolutely everything. I just it's I would say one of the top not only life hacks for your own success, but also for your own joy and meaning in your life. It's just the best. And I think those people can change over time. Like, but oftentimes these people that we choose to be like our people are the people that are there for a very long time, and they're not seasonal people that like, oh, it's a coworker that like we like to go hang out after work. Like that's beautiful in of itself, and we need people in different degrees of things. But I think the types of people you're referring to are those tight circles with all of those qualities I was just talking about.
mm. I I'm led to ask you, what would you suggest when someone realizes they've asked for advice or put really trusted work information with someone and it's just not received well?
Mm. When you're giving the advice or you're receiving their advice.
I think when you've got a big work dream, you're looking to make a big shift and you chose someone, how do you handle when that conversation doesn't go how you thought it would go?
Oof, that's so hard. First of all, I've been there and I just, yeah, it expectations are really difficult to manage sometimes. And getting people on your same vision and your same page is easy sometimes and hard others. So I think it just comes back to managing expectations and coming back again, like we started this conversation, to trusting yourself and your own vision along the way. And oftentimes, if what you're sharing with someone isn't received well, either one, they don't understand it. And so that maybe could cause someone to feel defensive or feel um, less than, like it's an ego thing going on, whether they realize it or not. Or maybe it also strikes another ego thing of maybe there's jealousy involved, or maybe they really just don't want to receive what you have to say. And either one of those is disappointing. And I think learning to wrestle with disappointment is actually a requirement for living a brave life, because you will disappoint people along the way if you're doing things that are big and beautiful, even if it's not on a large scale, like actually, but for you, it feels really big. You're going to probably disappoint people along the way. And are you willing to go through the muck of that might come with that in order to get to the other side? So,
Mm.
wrestling with disappointment um, in a conscious way is, I think, the hard and only way to go through those really hard moments like that.
And the word that I feel like has come up so often as we're recording this is trust.
Yeah.
And when you have those itchy moments with someone, you just are learning about who is part of your circle of trust, and you just have that information for the next time.
Yeah, totally.
Trust has been a really big word that I feel like if we were to go through this episode and like word count, I think trust would be
The
high on the word
theme.
count. That's a big
Yes.
one.
Yeah.
That's a very,
Yeah.
very big one.
Yeah. Yourself and other people. Totally.
Hmm. What are two action steps that our listeners can take today to be in alignment when they show up for their lives and for work?
Only two.
You can do as many as you want,
No,
Taylor.
I'm just joking. Let's see. First thing I think of is taking inventory of yourself, really taking time to like check in with yourself and get quiet of really what's working, what's not working, what feels good, what doesn't feel good. I really don't think people take enough time to do that. So a lot of us are just like blazing through life, whether we like it or not. So I think setting aside those moments to evaluate is huge and is necessary for getting into alignment. So I would say that. And then I would also say, man, just making those bold choices, like similar to having those hard conversations that may lead to disappointment, doing things just from a space of bravery and from a space of boldness, like that maybe again only you can see sometimes and that you can trust sometimes. So I would say that would be just the other piece is just take the inventory that's like quiet sitting with things, but then also taking actual action.
I love that. Okay, this one came to mind as you were answering that. And it's our
Yeah,
last question for this episode.
perfect.
Someone looking in from the outside, what is something they would see you doing that our listeners could add into their lives that is just a fun part of aligning to achieve in work and in your career?
This is going to sound silly, but it's like you smile by yourself.
Hmm.
Like I don't know, at least in my experience, it's like alignment just is a symptom is joy and peace. And so like when you're walking, like I live in an office where I walk down the street to it and it's like it's not every day, but on those days that I did this morning, knowing I was doing this, which feels so in alignment, it's like I'm just smiling on my own and not because I have to or I'm in front of someone, but just because I just have no other choice but to. So it's like a silly thing, but a very real and powerful thing too.
I love that. I have a feeling a lot of us smile to ourselves, and to know that that is a sign that you are aligning to achieve and you are in your power is very, very fun to know.
Yeah, totally. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. There is so much to listen to, so much content, and the fact you are here listening to this, truly, it means everything. And so I'm so appreciative. Please feel free to send this to a friend if it resonated with you, if you thought of somebody, and of course, like, subscribe, all of the things. So glad you're here. I'll see you next week.